you like the color green? If so, let me know in the comments below. I really love green, especially like a deep, dark green. But lately I have become really fascinated by Scheele's green and Paris green. And it seems so was everybody else back in the 19th century. Little did they know that these pigments had a deep, dark secret. So let's get into it. Hi, I am Jaycene-Fay and welcome to my channel where I talk about art, art history and give advice to artists. So if that sounds good to you, I highly recommend that you subscribe for more content like this. So, Scheele's green. Have you heard of it before? Scheele's green was a vibrant green pigment that was invented in 1775 by Carl Wilhelm Scheele in Sweden. It became very popular in Europe as well as the US. So popular, in fact, that it was literally used in everything, from dyeing fabrics to wallpaper, even the paper that they used to wrap your food in at shops, headdresses, toys, candles, and even pesticides that they used on vegetables. However, this highly fashionable pigment was made by blending copper and oxygen with arsenic. So you can imagine how deadly this pigment was. By the way, if you happen to hear any bird sounds, I live in an area where there are lots of birds around, and I also have my own bird, an African grey, so just warning you, if he makes any sounds, that is what it is. By the end of the 19th century, Scheele's green had completely replaced all the green pigments based on copper carbonate. However, people loved Scheele's green so much that they continued to use it even after they discovered how toxic it was. After all, the ingredient that made Scheele's green so vibrant and beautiful was arsenic. And why would you want to get rid of that? So for those who don't know, because I didn't, arsenic poisoning can cause nausea, diarrhea, as well as bladder and lung cancer and even skin cancer, and also these really painful lesions as seen here. It is said that women wearing green dresses would be struck ill, and children that were in rooms with this arsenic-filled pigment covering their walls would waste away. This was not only from the fabric covering their skin, as with the dresses, but also the fumes that were inhaled from this pigment. An article released in The Lancet in 1863 by Dr. Arthur Hill Hassel describes it this way. You can skip ahead if you want to, but I will be reading this section. The particles of poison thus detached are diffused through the atmosphere of the room and become inhaled by the occupants. Inhaled, it acts as an irritant to the throat and lungs, and after a time is absorbed into the system. There is the further danger in the case of arsenical paper hangings, of the paper becoming detached in places and of being licked or chewed by children, as has frequently happened. The same danger constitutes the chief objection to the use of the substance in the coloring of writing and wrapping paper, envelopes and cards. The danger of the use of arsenate of copper in the coloration of leaves, muslins and other articles of dress or personal ornament is twofold. The one danger affects the workpeople by whom the articles are manufactured, the other the wearers. The injury to health in the case of the makers of artificial flowers and leaves, who consist chiefly of girls and young women, is often very great. The green powder flies about the workroom in large quantities and is inhaled. It also settles on the exposed parts of the person, as on the head, face, neck, and hands. The hands become stained of a green color, which no washing will remove. At length, ugly-looking sores appear on various parts of the body, including all the exposed parts. There is a constant soreness of and running from the eyes and nose. The chest and throat are sore. There is a cough, and at last diarrhea sets in. Frequently, the work people become so ill that they are obliged to desist from their work from time to time. In some instances, fatal results have been known to ensue. You are welcome to read the rest on your own if you want to, but I think that that's enough from me. As people become more aware of the effects of arsenic being used in dyes and pigments, we start to see artwork that represents its dangers, such as in this wood engraving made in 1862, a week after the chemist A.W. Hoffman had published an article, The Dance of Death, in the Times. I read somewhere that the term drop dead gorgeous was coined during the 19th century because of the dresses that women would wear with these pigments. But I didn't find any evidence supporting this, so if you know the truth, please let me know. So what about Paris green? Paris green, also known as emerald green, was a vibrant blue-green pigment discovered between 1798 and 1812 by Ignaz von Mitis in Austria. And so the pigment was also known as Mitis green. Wilhelm Sattler began production of this pigment in 1814 in his factory in Schweinsfurt. I think I pronounced that correctly. It was thought to be an improved version of Scheele's green, however, also being a copper acetate arsenate, which I promise I'm not swearing at you, it was just as deadly. So when it comes to art, Scheele's green had been used by a few painters, but Paris green or emerald green was highly favored by Impressionists and Post-Impressionists. 95 occurrences of easel paintings have been mentioned in the literature from 1832 to 1919, and this pigment was used in painting as late as 1925. Famous artists that used Paris green are Vincent van Gogh, J.M.W. Turner, Edouard Manet, and Paul Gauguin, amongst others. Not only was emerald or Paris green used by artists, but just like Scheele's green, it was also used to dye fabric as well as wallpaper. Scheele's green and Paris green, like other arsenic-based pigments, were eventually banned from use in many applications, including art. These pigments were eventually replaced by safer synthetic alternatives, such as this one from Earth Pigments. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video today. I know that I did. I really enjoyed learning about Scheele's green and Paris green. I'm excited to make more videos like this. I think I'm actually going to make a whole series on different pigments, on the history of them. So if that sounds good, please let me know in the comments below.